What's up, guys? So, today we are DIYing a dining room table bench. So, story behind this is we needed some new dining room table chairs. Our dining room table outdated, chairs are outdated, stuff like that. So we are repurposing the dining room table, and we're just going to do the bench instead. Story behind this is, came home from work. Amy's like, "Hey, look at this picture. Why don't you just build one of these benches or whatever?" I was like, "Okay, I got it." So, had some spare wood out there, threw it together, and that's what we're doing. So, here's a clip. All right, guys, in the middle of a remodel. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build a bench for Amy for the kitchen. So I'm just gonna throw something together real fast out of spare wood. We'll see what happens. Okay, guys, so right here I'm actually going through and removing some old nails out of the 2x4, just getting them ready to cut. So just getting it all cleaned up. Ready? Take the board. That's gonna be quite nice. Alright. Step one done. Alright, step number two, we're gonna do the legs and the braces. So we don't have a huge table. I mean, it's good size. We got like a leaf in the middle of it, but I just did a 4 foot, seeing something that's 77 foot long, more or less. 6 foot long is pretty long, so we did 4 foot split in half. There's two boards, two 2x6 boards on there, and then on these I'm gonna do 16 and a half legs. So let's see. And whatever you do not lay a board on top of it, like on top of each other, to try to measure from the previous board, because it's gonna throw you off by a little bit. Now, granted, actually I'm gonna go 6. No, I'm gonna go 7. No, I'm gonna go 16 and a half. Been 16 and a half legs. Okay. So from that spot. Cut one at a time. Alright. Here we go. Legs. Step number 2. We need 4 legs. Just so everyone knows. Anyone would ask that question, but just in case anyone asks that question, we're doing 4 legs. 16 and a half inches long. Make sure you bring, if you're using a chop saw, make sure you bring the saw down before you turn it on, to make sure you have the right thing, because if not, it could be catastrophic at the end if you're really having to make precise measurements. And another thing with table saw, like I just did there, do not let the saw do its job. Don't force it, because then you get little janky spots like that. Force it. So, just as a tip that another thing is, please wear your safety glasses. I don't have mine on right now, but remember to wear safety glasses. No matter how macho us men are, do something in your eye, no one likes it. So, alright, so next step was step 3. So, obviously, stay tuned. Alright guys, so now we're going to cut the long length of the boards, and they're going to be, since we cut 48 inches or 4 foot bench things out of the 2x6. We cut an 8 foot piece in half, and then so I have 2 pieces for the top. For the long stretch to brace it with the 2x4s, it's going to be, we're going to go 3 inches on each side, so it'll be 42 inches, I believe. So the long piece is going to be 42 inches. The legs, like I said, 16.5. The middle brace piece between the 2 seats is going to be 4.5 inches, and then the outside brace ones going across, we're going to do 2 on each leg. So it's going to be 7.5 inches. So see how that goes, and we'll go from there. So here we go. Let's get to cutting. Like I mentioned earlier, this right here is what I'm talking about. Look at the board. If you rush it, just like I just did just now, you get these all whopper jawed pieces here. Makes it not look as pretty. So, just a reminder, go slow, let the saw do what it needs to do. The thing I love about using either a table saw or a chop saw is that you get like super accurate cuts. Now, I'm not as steady as I used to be when I was younger with my hands and stuff, but you know, I can cut pretty straight lines with the skill saw, everything like that. But it's not going to compare to being something that's hinged like that, or something you have a locked, you know, brace in like a table saw. So I would prefer, if you're making precise cuts just like that, I would say try to use table saw or a chop saw. But not everybody has a table saw and chop saw, and a lot of people can afford a skill saw. So if that's all you're working with, then that's what I would do. I would try to just go slow and let the saw, because the same thing applies to no matter what you're cutting. Let the saw do its work. Get good blades. Spend the money once on good blades, and let it cut. Last piece here. I got all my pieces here. Wow, this is great. This is great. All right, here we go. Let's get all the material back up on the porch. Get this thing screwed together. Put some wood putty on it. Get it all ready for paint. I think Amy's gonna paint it tomorrow. If not, then I'll paint it and stain it. So here we go. All right, guys. So after cutting those pieces for the material list, I just want to go over real quick before we get started assembling stuff. So we made the bench. Instead of doing, you know, 6 foot or something like that, we just did 4 foot. Which makes it easier on anybody trying to DIY. Biggest reason why, you know, go. You can get 2x6. Sometimes you see stuff laying around. 2x6. Sorry for the kids' noise or whatever in there. The 2x6 would be, 8-foot 2x6. Cut it in half. You got 4 foot. You're set. That's the top. So that's going to be the part you sit on, everything like that. Now, you'll have the legs, which I measured, went back and forth with our table, stuff like that, had the kids sit down, and 16.5 inches for the legs was like ideal. So 4 2x4s cut down to 16.5 inches. Another thing for the bracing pieces on the ends for the legs to really strengthen them up, it's going to be 7.5 inches. So 7.5 goes on the ends, and you'll see me here later on in the video when I'm assembling. Be 7.5 inches on the ends. In the centerpiece between the two long runners, which the two long runners, real quick while I'm saying that, it's going to be 42 inches. The reason why it's 42 inches, it's going to allow 1.25 inches, I think is what it was, or 1.5 inches on each side overhang for the 2x6s. But that centerpiece there to brace the two pieces there, the runners or whatever, underneath the 2x6 is pretty much the frame of it, more or less, is going to be 4.5. Sorry, I don't have it look here. I got it wrote down on my hand. 4.5 inches in the center. Another thing, we just went ahead and I used the Deckmate star bit 2.5 inch screws. I didn't have any problems with it. I mean, those things will last forever. I just use them for almost everything, it seems like. So I had those. We were trying to do it quick, spare the moment thing. Walked in, Amy's like, "Hey, I need a bench. Look at this cute little thing." I was like, "All right, I got you. We're gonna get it done tonight. Be done with it." So that's where we're at. Now, back to the video. All right, guys, so we are back. Getting dark. Turn the porch light on. Sorry for the poor lighting. I wasn't gonna do this, but to be safe so I don't split the wood, I'm going to drill a couple pilot holes. Now I'm going to be using 7/64, just how you would say that, drill bit, and I'm going to drill them out my positions before I screw these screws in so I don't split the wood. All right, guys, on the drill bit, with that, I normally don't do it because probably I'm impatient. If you watch any of my fishing videos and stuff like that, you'll hear me say that a ton, to slow down. Honestly, it's work smarter, not harder type of thing. I wanted to be cautious of this. I didn't want to get all the whole stuff done. I was trying to build it quick, get done. Had a narrow window or whatever right after work and before putting the kids down for bed. So wanted to get it done, fix it. So I would definitely advise doing that though. Trying to integrate that more. My builds, stuff like that. I actually, on our shallow water anchor video that I just posted on my shallow water anchor video, I also used the pilot hole idea as well. So that's a no-brainer. Honestly, if you've been doing anything, which, I'm sure in the comments you have to be like, obviously that's a no-brainer. But that's something I normally don't do, but I'm definitely going to start doing it now. It saved a lot, didn't split, everything turned out great. And you want to try to get everything as centered up as possible, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in real quick to hold everything in position. Alright, there's one. put like a can of off on, and I still have like 1,000 mosquitoes going into my body. So you see me turn white, my blood leaves. Looks like I just got attacked by Morbus, Dracula. I will say another thing. I would probably put a coat of paint on this, or primer. Probably just paint will be fine, but oil-based oil is good for wood because the oil, like, I feel like the oil-based paint soaks into the wood better than more just latex that lays on the surface. But I don't know if that's actually what happens, but I mean, I'm like pretty confident watching it over the years and stuff like that, and then it makes sense too, to me at least. But I would probably get a coat of paint on it before you screw everything together. I know it's going to scuff up, so like that, but it's just the first coat, and that way everything's just sealed, looks nice. Maybe the hard to get spots may not be able to get in with a brush or something. It's covered. So let's get that last piece screwed on the back. We'll put the legs on, and then we will screw the top on. So you can go 2.5 inches and do 4 on each leg if you're going to want to, especially if you have kids like me. My kids will probably be jumping on everything, breaking it, but you at least need a minimum of 4. Honestly, I probably need like 14 screws and hit everything in mine. I think it's super glue and everything else. So. Kind of adhesive I can get. So I like to lay it down on a flat surface first, and just so you get the most accurate measurements here. Pair everything up flat with the corners. I mean super flat. And then and then after you do that, it gives you time to screw everything off. Mosquitoes are crazy tonight. We had like no mosquitoes up till like 2 weeks ago. And then I don't know what happened. It's like, I mean, we haven't had any rain either. I will say, I mean, they started getting bad, which is weird. Especially with no rain. And then all of a sudden, we had a thunderstorm like crazy. It did all kinds of damage. And we did damage to our neighbor's house. And everything. So knocked a tree over right next to us. My in-laws' swimming pool got demolished, I guess, from the high mileage winds, or was it overfilled in the combo. But I don't know. Anyways, it was insane. So after that, though, needless to say, it became insane with the storm, or the mosquitoes here. So my neighbors are probably thinking, dude, that guy's insane being out there with all these mosquitoes. But, you know, I'm the kind of person that likes to suffer and make sure I get something done, you know. Get something finished, push it, get something finished, and then enjoy the benefits of it later. Plus, if I didn't do that, then I probably would never get anything done. So, and that's the truth. Got so many projects I want to do. Can't ever get anything finished. Before I start another one, so tonight, this is proof. This is the best way to go, that we are going to finish this thing. So I was way off when I was telling you guys earlier. And it's actually 1.5 inches. It's 3 inches total. Or 1.25 inches actually. So you'll allow for 1.25 inches on each side.
Alright guys, it's the final product. Looks good. Sorry for the lighting issues. And that's out of like barely any wood too, so it worked out perfect. Alright guys, time to take this into Amy. Our new bench there. You guys have a good night.
Alright guys, that concludes our video of the DIY bench. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment. Obviously that helps. Like, subscribe, really trying to grow. Click the notification bell, and we'll see you next time. So, peace out.